Welcome back to Africa Timeline, your trusted source for the latest and most critical news across Africa. Today, we bring you a series of high-impact stories shaking the Horn of Africa and beyond. From strategic security talks between Somaliland and the United States aimed at protecting the Red Sea corridor, to Somalia's president daring Al-Shabaab militants to register for national IDs. These developments mark a turning point for regional stability and counter-terrorism efforts. Stay with us as we dive deep into these unfolding stories and reveal how the future of security, governance, and peace in the Horn is being shaped today. President Abdirahman Mohamed Abdillahi Chiro of Somaliland welcomed a high-level U.S. delegation led by General Dagvin Anderson, commander of U.S. Africa Command, and Ambassador Justin Davis from the U.S. Embassy in Somalia at the Presidential Palace in Hargeisa. The talks focused on enhancing security collaboration, regional stability, and protecting critical waterways like the Gulf of Aden, a vital artery for international trade. AFRICOM's General Anderson emphasized Somaliland's strategic importance in maintaining security across the Red Sea and the Horn of Africa. Ambassador Davis praised Somaliland's contributions to regional peace and maritime security, affirming America's commitment to strengthening defense institutions in partnership with Somaliland. President Chiro highlighted Somaliland's democratic governance, a stable military with over 3 decades of peacekeeping, and called for international recognition linked to U.S. strategic interests in East Africa. Following the meeting, the U.S. delegation toured Berbera Airport and Port to inspect key infrastructure crucial for security operations. In Mogadishu, Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud issued a bold challenge to Al-Shabaab militants who have been instructed to register for national ID cards issued by the National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA. We have the technology and systems to capture fingerprints, facial data, and track identities. Let them register, the president said, emphasizing that this will expose militants hiding among civilians. This move comes as the agency celebrates registering over 1 million Somalis since 2023, marking progress toward nationwide biometric identification. Daud Awais Jama, Somalia's Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism, delivered remarks at the 55th Ordinary Session of the Arab Ministers of Information Council, held in Cairo on November 26, 2025. Minister Jama extended greetings from the Somali government and President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, thanking the Arab League and the Egyptian hosts for their warm hospitality. He emphasized Somalia's commitment to strengthening Arab media cooperation, upholding professional journalism, and advancing media's role in peace-building, development, and social cohesion. Highlighting Somalia's progress, he pointed to the historic upcoming universal suffrage elections, the first in over 50 years, urging Arab media to give the event special coverage. Minister Jama also reaffirmed Somalia's steadfast support for the Palestinian cause, calling for full implementation of ceasefire agreements and unhindered humanitarian aid to Palestine. He closed by stressing Somalia's desire to deepen media collaboration with Arab partners through joint projects, training and responsible reporting to promote peace, democracy and regional stability. Somalia's Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre delivered a powerful keynote at the 17th MEDays International Forum in Tangier, Morocco, unveiling a bold new vision for African cooperation and global South development. The Prime Minister proposed the creation of an African-led maritime alliance to connect African nations with Atlantic countries, strengthening security and boosting vital trade routes. He also called for a direct maritime trade corridor linking East Africa with Morocco, a move aimed at uniting the continent's eastern and northern economies. Prime Minister Barre further urged the establishment of a global South investment fund to support development and infrastructure without restrictive foreign conditions. On technology, he advocated for a global South AI forum, ensuring artificial intelligence systems reflect the languages and cultures of developing nations. Prime Minister Barre continues high-level sideline meetings in Morocco to advance Somalia's strategic interests on the global stage. In a key government move, Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre appointed Ahmed Hassan Yusuf as the new General Director of Justice Affairs. He called on the new director to uphold justice and strengthen governance, signaling a continued focus on reform in Somalia's legal sector. The House of the People of the Federal Republic of Somalia held its 15th session this week at the Parliamentary headquarters, chaired by Speaker H.E. Sheikh Aden Mohammed Noor, also known as Maduba. With 140 members of Parliament present, the session focused on the second reading of the agreement establishing the East African Standby Force prepared by the Ministry of Defence. This agreement, having passed its first reading, was jointly reviewed by the Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Committee and the Defence Committee. During the session, MPs examined key parts of the agreement and questioned the State Minister of Defence on its importance for Somalia's security and regional cooperation. Speaker Madubi closed the session by instructing the committees to finalise preparations for the third reading, which will allow further debate and voting. Later, the House split into two groups to continue the second reading of the Medicine Bill, marking steady legislative progress. The third Ulema Conference, organized by the Ministry of Endowments and Islamic Affairs of the Federal Democratic Republic of Somalia, entered its third consecutive day in Mogadishu. The event brings together more than 300 Somali scholars from across Somalia, the African continent, Europe, and the United States. Today's sessions focus on crucial national themes, including security, social cohesion, good governance, and the continued successes of the Somali National Army in combating the Karajitis. The broad participation of religious scholars reflects a unified commitment to strengthening Somalia's resilience and countering extremist ideologies threatening the nation's stability. Throughout the day, scholars engage in in-depth discussions aimed at enhancing governance principles, promoting unity among communities, and reinforcing the vital role of religious leaders in combating the destructive ideas spread by the Karajiits. Organizers emphasize that this conference provides an essential platform for dialogue and collaboration, as Somalia advances efforts to consolidate peace and stability. Today's agenda also includes focused discussions on promoting good governance and effectively confronting extremist threats. Somalia's Disaster Management Agency, SoDMA, and the United Nations have launched a renewed high-level joint effort to confront the rapidly worsening drought gripping the country. In a strategic meeting held today in Mogadishu, SoDMA Commissioner Mahamoud Moalim Abdullah and UN Deputy Special Representative George Conway reviewed the alarming spread of drought and its severe impact on vulnerable communities already struggling from previous climate shocks. Both sides agreed to fast-track aid coordination, improve logistics, and enhance data sharing to ensure relief supplies reach the hardest-hit and remote areas without delay. They also discussed long-term mitigation measures to protect pastoralist and farming families from future climate-driven crises. In a joint statement, SoDMA and the UN reaffirmed their commitment to life-saving interventions, calling on international donors to urgently scale up support. Commissioner Abdullah warned that immediate action is essential to protect the lives and livelihoods of millions of Somalis at risk. Puntland State has issued a strong warning. Any individual found with the National ID card issued by Somalia's National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA, will be arrested and jailed. The announcement came Tuesday night from Puntland's Minister of Information, Mohammed Abdi Barre. He said the cards are being obtained by members of Al-Shabaab, claiming the federal government has allowed militants to register. Minister Barre stressed that Puntland views Al-Shabaab as an enemy, and anyone carrying the NIRA ID will be treated the same. His remarks follow comments from President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, who revealed that intelligence reports show Al-Shabaab encouraging its members to obtain the IDs. The president said, "Let them take it," calling it an opportunity to track militants. Puntland had already banned NIRA IDs in its territory prior to this dispute. Somali federal forces and Jubaland regional troops have pushed to within just 7 kilometers of Jamaame, one of Al-Shabaab's most critical command bases in Lower Juba. Troops are now positioned near the Araare Bridge, a major defensive point long used by the militants to protect access to the town. Military officials say capturing the bridge would clear the way for government forces to enter Jamaame for the first time since Al-Shabaab took control in 2008. The joint offensive, now in its second week, has advanced along both the main tarmac road and the western bank of the Juba River, tightening pressure on multiple fronts. Officials say the goal is to cut off Al-Shabaab's taxation routes, agricultural resources, and riverine settlements that fund its operations. Residents near Jamaame have begun fleeing as fighting intensifies, while militants are believed to be reinforcing long-established defensive positions around Araare. Military leaders describe this as the largest push toward Jamaame since the capture of Kismayo in 2012. Somalia's Minister of Defense, Ahmed Moalim Fiki, has officially registered as a voter at the National Independent Electoral Commission Center in Galkacyo, calling the move a historic step toward democracy. After receiving his voter card, the minister urged Somalis across the country to participate in voter registration so they can elect leaders who truly represent them. He said elections are a constitutional right that citizens have been denied for 56 years, and that this right is now being restored. Fiki described the moment as critical for state building and Somalia's democratic future, stressing that public participation is essential for achieving a one-person, one-vote system. However, opposition leaders, including former Presidents Sharif Sheikh Ahmed and Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, have rejected the government's plan, accusing it of moving forward without consensus. They have even warned they may organize a parallel vote if disagreements continue. Somalia's last election in 2022 followed the 4.5 clan-based formula, which divides parliamentary representation among major and minority clans. A Somali businessman, Qasim Abdi Hassan, was tragically shot dead in Cape Town's Philippi area, a hotspot for targeted attacks against Somali-owned shops. Local communities say killings spike every year toward December, with little improvement in protection. Stay connected with Africa Timeline for breaking updates from across the continent. Like, share, and subscribe to support independent, in-depth African news coverage. This has been your trusted Africa Timeline news update. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.